Gregory Pearson looked out the observation window of the Earthship Horizon Dawn. The stars seemed different today. He had been the chief xenobiologist on the ship for 5 years. His job was to study alien life forms, but so far they had found only simple organisms on distant planets. Today would change everything. Dr. Pearson to the bridge. The captain's voice came through the speaker. They're here. Gregory rushed through the corridors. His heart beat fast as he entered the bridge. On the main screen he saw 3 crystal-like ships. They shimmered like diamonds against the blackness of space. First contact, Captain Nancy Ford said quietly. And they've asked specifically for our biology experts. The alien vessels were unlike anything humans had built. They looked like giant crystals with glowing blue light coming from within. The largest ship sent a message asking for permission to meet with Earth representatives. 2 days later, Gregory stood in the meeting room with 5 other humans. Captain Ford, Dr. Amanda Collins, the diplomat, Security Officer Daniel Ross, Communications Officer Kimberly Wright, and Medical Officer Olivia Martinez made up the team. They all wore their best uniforms and tried to look calm. The door opened. 3 tall, thin beings entered the room. Gregory gasped quietly. The aliens had almost see-through skin. He could see organs moving inside their bodies. They moved gracefully like dancers. Each was about 7 feet tall with 4 long arms and 2 legs. Their heads were small with large, purple eyes. "Welcome to Earth space," Captain Ford said. "We are honored to meet you." The tallest alien stepped forward. "I am Zilteth of the Vathrai Collective. We have observed your species for some time." The alien's voice came from a small device on its chest. It translated the strange musical sounds the creature made into English. "We are pleased to establish formal relations," Dr. Collins said with a smile. Zilteth moved closer, studying the humans with obvious curiosity. "Your bodies lack protective coverings. Your skin tears easily. Your bones break under minimal pressure. You require narrow temperature ranges. How has your species survived?" Gregory exchanged looks with Dr. Collins. This was not the first question they expected. "We have adapted to our environment," Gregory explained. "Humans are very good at surviving in different conditions." The second alien spoke. Its translator called it Senvar. "Our scans show your bodies are mostly water with minimal protection. On our homeworld, such creatures would not survive a single day cycle." Gregory learned that the Vathrai came from a moon orbiting a gas giant. Their world had very little gravity and a thick protective atmosphere. Their bodies evolved in gentle conditions, protected by natural crystal formations that grew from their skin as they matured. "We categorize your species as a conservation priority," Zilteth announced. "You require protection and guidance." Captain Ford straightened her back. "While we appreciate your concern, humans have survived and thrived on Earth for thousands of years. We've overcome many challenges." The aliens made a musical sound that the translator didn't catch. Gregory thought it might be something like laughter or disbelief. "Perhaps a cultural exchange would help us understand each other better," Dr. Collins suggested. "Would you be willing to share information about your species while we tell you about ours?" The Vathrai agreed. For the next 3 hours they shared basic information. Gregory learned that the Vathrai lived for about 300 Earth years. They reproduced by splitting off parts of themselves once every 50 years. They had visited 23 other alien civilizations, most of which were more physically durable than humans. "Your bodies function at high temperatures," Senvar noted. "Your cells would break down in our normal environment. And yet you travel through space," the third alien, Kexlin, added. "It is remarkable." As the meeting continued, Gregory noticed how carefully the Vathrai moved. They seemed afraid to touch anything. When Officer Ross offered a handshake, they backed away. "We must avoid physical contact," Zilteth explained. "Your body heat could damage our outer layers." Dr. Martinez spoke up. "I would be very interested in learning about your biology. Perhaps we could share medical information that would benefit both our species." The Vathrai seemed surprised by this suggestion. "You wish to learn about superior biological forms?" This is wise. We will provide basic medical texts. Gregory saw Captain Ford's jaw tighten at the word superior, but she remained diplomatic. We look forward to learning from each other, she said. As the meeting ended, the Vathrai prepared to return to their ship. Zilteth turned to the human delegation. We have made first contact with many species. Most were stronger than you, with natural armor or advanced physical abilities. Your kind is unusually vulnerable, yet you have built impressive technology. This is curious to us. Before anyone could respond, Officer Wright's stomach growled loudly. She looked embarrassed. What was that sound? Kexlin asked, moving back slightly. I'm sorry, Wright said. I haven't eaten since breakfast. That was just my stomach. The three Vathrai looked at each other. Their skin changed color slightly, turning more purple. You require frequent nutrient intake? Senvar asked. Yes, humans typically eat 3 times a day, Dr. Martinez explained. This information seemed to shock the aliens. 3 times in a single day cycle? How inefficient. How often do the Vathrai eat? Gregory asked. We absorb nutrients once every 15 of your days, Zilteth said. The process takes several hours but is highly efficient. Captain Ford smiled. Perhaps at our next meeting we could demonstrate a human meal. Cultural exchange includes sharing food traditions. The Vathrai were quiet for a moment. Then Zilteth nodded. We accept. We will observe your eating process. Tomorrow we will send transportation for your delegation to visit our ship. After the aliens left, the human team gathered to discuss the meeting. They think we're fragile, Officer Ross said with a frown. They're not entirely wrong, Dr. Martinez replied. Compared to them, our bodies do require a lot of maintenance. Gregory shook his head. But they're missing something important about humans. We may not have natural armor or crystal skin, but we adapt. We survive. Captain Ford looked at the team. Tomorrow we'll show them more about humanity. Dr. Pearson, Dr. Martinez, I want you to prepare information about human resilience. If they think we're some kind of endangered species needing protection, we need to change their minds. As Gregory returned to his quarters, he couldn't help but smile. After years of searching for alien life, they had not only found it, but discovered a species that was in many ways more physically vulnerable than humans, despite their advanced technology. They think we're fragile, he said to himself. Wait until they really get to know us. The next day, Gregory Pearson and the human team prepared to visit the Vathrai ship. Dr. Olivia Martinez packed medical supplies just in case, while Chef Alan Blackwood carefully selected food items to bring along. Are you sure about bringing real meat? Gregory asked as he watched Alan pack steaks, chicken, and even lobster into special containers. Alan smiled. Captain's orders. She wants to show the Vathrai what human eating really looks like. I've got fruits, vegetables, bread, and even some desserts too. Gregory nodded, but he felt nervous. The Vathrai already thought humans were strangely fragile. How would they react when they saw humans tearing into food with their teeth? The Vathrai sent a small crystal shuttle to bring the humans to their main ship. Inside, the temperature was much colder than humans found comfortable. The air felt thin, and everyone except Dr. Martinez struggled to breathe normally. Oxygen levels are about 15% lower than Earth standard, she explained quietly. And the temperature is around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. This must be comfortable for them. The shuttle docked with the massive crystal ship. When the doors opened, Zilteth greeted them. Welcome to the Celestial Seeker, the tall alien said. We have prepared a special area for you with adjusted atmosphere and temperature. Please follow me. The human team walked through corridors made of the same crystal-like material as the outside of the ship. Inside, they saw dozens of Vathrai moving about. Some stopped to stare at the humans with their large purple eyes. Your people seem very interested in us, Captain Ford commented. You are the first non-protective species we have encountered, Zilteth explained. Most spacefaring beings have shells, scales, or other external protection. Your exposed flesh is unusual. They arrived at a large room with a table-like structure in the center. The room was warmer than the rest of the ship, and breathing was easier here. "We have adjusted conditions to your requirements," Senvar said, entering the room, with two other Vathrai. "Is it suitable?" "It's perfect, thank you," Dr. Collins replied with a diplomatic smile. The humans began setting up their food on one end of the table while the Vathrai watched with interest. Chef Allen arranged the dishes nicely, placing the steaks on a warming plate and setting out bread, salad, and other items. "What are these objects?" Kexlin asked, pointing to the food. "This is how humans eat," Gregory explained. "We consume various plants and animals for nutrition." The Vathrai moved closer, examining the food. Their skin changed color slightly, turning a deeper purple. "These are parts of living beings?" Senvar asked. "Well, they're not living anymore," Officer Ross said with a small laugh. "But yes, we eat plants and meat from animals." The Vathrai seemed confused. Zilteth moved to the other end of the table and placed 3 clear containers filled with blue liquid. "This is our nutrition," the alien explained. "Processed mineral compounds and synthesized proteins in liquid form. We absorb it through our membranes." Captain Ford nodded. "How interesting. Shall we begin our meal?" The human sat down and began to eat. Gregory watched the Vathrai carefully as Officer Ross cut into his steak. The alien seemed completely focused on the human's actions. When Ross put the first piece of meat in his mouth and began to chew, Zilteth made a musical sound that the translator didn't catch. "You are using bone structures in your mouth to break down the food?" Senvar asked, sounding shocked. Dr. Martinez nodded. "Yes. We have teeth that help us chew our food before swallowing. Then our digestive system breaks it down further." The Vathrai moved back slightly when Chef Allen cracked open a lobster claw with a loud snap. The red meat inside seemed to particularly disturb them. "You consume the muscle tissue directly?" Kexlin asked. The translator conveyed a tone of horror. "It's delicious," Allen said. "Would any of you like to try some?" All 3 Vathrai moved back further. "Our systems cannot process solid matter," Zilteth explained quickly. The meal continued with the humans eating normally, and the Vathrai observing with what seemed like a mixture of fascination and disgust. When Kimberly Wright bit into an apple with a loud crunch, Senvar's skin changed to a pale blue color. "And you consume plant matter in its raw form as well?" the alien asked. "Yes, many fruits and vegetables can be eaten raw," Dr. Collins explained. "Others we cook first." "Cook?" Kexlin asked. "We apply heat to change the structure of the food," Gregory explained. "It makes some foods taste better and be safer to eat." The Vathrai were quiet for a moment. Then Zilteth spoke. "Your consumption process is very aggressive." Captain Ford smiled. "I suppose it might seem that way to you. But this is normal for humans." After the main meal, Chef Allen brought out chocolate cake for dessert. The sweet smell filled the room as he cut slices, for each human. "This contains processed plant extracts and animal products," he explained to the watching aliens. "It's what we call a dessert, something sweet we eat for pleasure after a meal." "You eat for pleasure, not just nutrition?" Senvar asked. "Absolutely," Allen replied. "Taste is very important to humans." As the humans enjoyed their cake, Dr. Martinez offered coffee. The Vathrai watched with new interest as she poured the dark liquid into cups. "This drink contains a mild stimulant that many humans enjoy," she explained. "You willingly consume stimulants?" Zilteth asked. "Substances that alter your body functions?" "In moderate amounts, yes," Dr. Martinez said. "Coffee helps us feel more alert." After the meal was finished, the humans and the Vathrai moved to a different room to continue their discussions. Gregory noticed that the aliens now kept a greater distance from the humans than before. "I believe we have learned much about your species today," Zilteth said. "Your consumption methods are unexpected." "How do the Vathrai view our eating habits?" Dr. Collins asked directly. The aliens were quiet for a moment. Then Senvar spoke. "To be honest, we find it somewhat violent. You tear, crush, and grind your food. You consume parts of other living things directly. On our world, only primitive organisms eat this way." Gregory saw Captain Ford's expression tighten slightly. "Yet you have achieved space travel and advanced Technology, Zilteth added quickly. This suggests there are aspects of human biology we do not yet understand. I think that's true for both our species, Gregory said. We have much to learn about each other. As the human delegation prepared to return to their ship, Zilteth approached Gregory privately. Dr. Pearson, may I ask a personal question? Of course, Gregory replied. Does it not disturb you to consume the flesh of other creatures? Gregory thought for a moment. No, because it's natural for us. Humans evolved as omnivores. We eat both plants and animals. It's how our bodies were, designed to get nutrition. Zilteth's skin rippled slightly. Fascinating. Perhaps humans are more resilient than we initially believed. On the shuttle ride back to the Horizon Dawn, Captain Ford gathered her team. Well, that was educational, she said with a small smile. I think our alien friends were quite shocked by human table manners. Officer Ross laughed. Did you see them when I cut into that steak? I thought they might faint. They've reclassified us, Dr. Collins said more seriously. I overheard 2 of them talking. We're no longer under conservation priority. Now they've labeled us as potentially dangerous omnivores. Gregory smiled to himself. The Vathrai were beginning to understand that humans weren't as fragile as they looked, and their education about humanity was just beginning. A week passed since the dinner with the Vathrai. The aliens had invited several human experts to visit their ship and learn more about each other. Gregory Pearson spent most days studying Vathrai biology, while Kimberly Wright worked to better understand their language and communication systems. One morning, Kimberly rushed into the lab where Gregory was working. I found something interesting, she said, holding up her tablet. I gained access to their scientific logs about humans. You need to see this. Gregory looked at the translated Vathrai notes. His eyes widened as he read. They think we're much weaker than we actually are, he said. They've been measuring human strength wrong. They didn't account for Earth's gravity correctly. Kimberly nodded. The Vathrai evolved in low gravity. Their calculations assume we would be just as weak as they would be on Earth. But they don't understand that we developed in Earth's gravity from the beginning. Gregory rubbed his chin. So they think we're fragile because by their standards we should barely be able to move under Earth's gravity. Exactly, Kimberly said. And there's more. Look at their notes about our diet. The Vathrai scientists had been shocked by what humans could eat. Their own digestive systems were simple, designed only to absorb pre-processed nutrients. The concept of breaking down complex foods was foreign to them. They classify coffee as a mild neurotoxin, Gregory read aloud, and alcohol as a dangerous poison. Yet we drink both for fun, Kimberly added with a small smile. That afternoon, engineer Paul Jackson was invited aboard the Vathrai ship to help with some technical work. Gregory went along as a scientific observer. The Vathrai were impressed with Paul's engineering knowledge. Your species has developed remarkable technology despite your limitations, Senvar said as they worked. Paul looked confused. What limitations? Your physical fragility, Senvar explained. The need for constant nutrition. Your short lifespans. Paul laughed. I wouldn't call humans fragile. We're actually pretty tough. As if to prove his point, Paul accidentally dropped a heavy metal tool on his foot. Senvar gasped, moving quickly to Paul's side. You'll require medical attention, the alien said, their skin turning a pale blue color. But Paul just winced and picked up the tool. Nah, it just stings a bit. No harm done. Senvar seemed stunned. But the force of that impact would need to be a lot greater to break anything. Paul finished. Human bones are pretty strong. The Vathrai scientist moved closer, studying Paul with new interest. May I scan your foot? For scientific purposes? Paul shrugged. Sure, go ahead. Senvar used a small device to scan Paul's foot, then studied the results with obvious surprise. Your bone density is much higher than our calculations suggested, the alien said, and your pain response is minimal. Later that day, the human team gathered in a conference room aboard the Horizon Dawn. Captain Ford listened as Gregory and Kimberly shared their discoveries. So, they've been underestimating us, the captain said, Physically, yes, Gregory confirmed. But there's something else happening today that might change their view even more. Dr. Martinez had invited some of the Vathrai scientists to observe a regular day in the ship's medical bay. She wanted to share knowledge about human healthcare. In the medical bay, Dr. Martinez was enjoying her lunch break when the Vathrai delegation arrived. She quickly finished her spicy ramen noodles and took a sip of her coffee. "Welcome," she said. "I was just finishing my lunch." Zil-Teth looked at the empty cup of noodles. "That contained the red particles we observed. What are they?" "Chili flakes," Dr. Martinez explained. "Many humans enjoy spicy food." "Spicy?" Kexlin asked. "It creates a sensation of heat or burning," Dr. Martinez explained. "Many plants developed chemicals to prevent animals from eating them, but humans often enjoy those exact chemicals." The three Vathrai looked at each other in what seemed like alarm. "You willingly consume plant defense chemicals?" Senvar asked. "Substances designed to cause pain?" Dr. Martinez nodded. "Yes, many human cultures love spicy food. The burning sensation triggers endorphins, pleasurable chemicals in our brains." She offered them her coffee. "Would you like to smell it? This contains caffeine, which blocks sleep signals in our brains." Zil-Teth carefully took the cup and held it near what passed for a nose on their face. The alien quickly moved back. "This would be highly toxic to our kind," Zil-Teth said, returning the cup. "Yet you drink it daily." "Several times a day usually," Dr. Martinez said with a smile. "It helps us stay alert during long shifts." The demonstration of human medical practices continued. Dr. Martinez showed the aliens how humans could recover, from cuts, bruises, and even broken bones. She explained human immunity and how vaccines worked. "So you intentionally expose yourselves to weakened disease agents?" Kexlin asked, sounding horrified. "Yes, to build immunity," Dr. Martinez explained. "Human bodies learn to recognize and fight diseases they've encountered before." At the end of the day, Gregory met with Zil-Teth in the ship's observation lounge. The alien seemed deep in thought. "Your species continues to surprise us," Zil-Teth said finally. "Today we learned that humans routinely consume substances that would kill a Vathrai." Gregory nodded. "Our bodies evolved to process many different substances. It gives us flexibility. You eat plants that evolved poison specifically to avoid being eaten," Zil-Teth continued. "You drink bitter stimulants that alter your brain function. You expose yourselves to diseases to become stronger." "That's a good summary," Gregory said with a smile. "We have been discussing your species in our scientific council," Zil-Teth said. "We no longer believe humans require protection. In fact, some of our scientists now suggest that your biological adaptability makes you one of the most dangerous species we have encountered." Gregory's smile faded. "Dangerous? We have no hostile intentions toward the Vathrai." "Not dangerous in terms of intent," Zil-Teth clarified. "Dangerous in terms of capability. Your bodies can withstand conditions that would kill most species we know. You can eat almost anything. You heal quickly. You adapt to poisons and turn them into pleasures." The alien moved closer to the observation window, looking out at the stars. "In our early evolution, the Vathrai focused on mental development because our bodies were fragile. We created technology to protect ourselves from our environment. But humans..." Zil-Teth turned back to Gregory. "Humans adapted their bodies. Instead." Gregory thought about this. "I suppose that's true in some ways. But we developed technology too." "Yes," Zil-Teth agreed. "And that combination makes your species unique in our experience." As Gregory left the meeting, he realized the Vathrai were seeing humans in a completely new light. They had arrived thinking humans were weak creatures needing protection. Now they were beginning to understand the true nature of humanity, adaptable, resilient, and perhaps a little bit frightening to a species that had never developed such traits, and they still had much more to learn about what humans could endure. 2 weeks after first contact with the Vathrai, Captain Nancy Ford agreed to a joint mission. The humans and Vathrai would explore a newly discovered space station built by an unknown alien species. The station orbited a small moon in a nearby star system. This is a great opportunity, Gregory Pearson told his team. We can show the Vathrai how humans work in challenging conditions. The joint team included Gregory, Captain Ford, Engineer Paul Jackson, Dr. Olivia Martinez, and Security, Officer Daniel Ross from the human side, Zilteth, Senvar, and two other Vathrai named Telmas and Kirlan represented their species. They traveled to the abandoned station in a Vathrai shuttle. The station looked like a giant metal ring with spikes coming out from all sides. It had been floating empty in space for thousands of years. Our scans show no power and no life signs, Zilteth said as they approached. The station appears to be completely dead. Captain Ford nodded. We should still be careful. Paul, what do you think about entering through that docking port on the lower section? Paul studied the station through the shuttle window. Looks good to me. It's similar to designs we've used before. The Vathrai pilot carefully aligned their shuttle with the old docking port. With a soft thud, they connected to the station. We will need environment suits, Senvar said. Our scans show no atmosphere inside. The humans put on their spacesuits, which were bulky but allowed good movement. The Vathrai wore thin, crystal-like suits that covered their entire bodies. Our suits can only sustain us for 3 hours, Telmas explained. How long can your suits function? About 8 hours, Officer Ross replied. But they're heavier than yours. The teams entered the station through an airlock. Inside, they found dark corridors with strange symbols on the walls. Paul set up portable lights so they could see better. The station design suggests it was built for beings about our size, Gregory observed. The doorways and corridors fit, both humans and Vathrai, comfortably. They split into 2 teams to explore more quickly. Captain Ford, Paul, Dr. Martinez, and Zilteth went toward what looked like the control center. Gregory, Officer Ross, Senvar, Telmas, and Kirlan headed toward what might be living quarters. Gregory's team found rooms with objects that looked like beds, tables, and chairs. The furniture was similar to human designs, but with strange angles and shapes. Whoever built this station was not so different from us, Gregory said. They needed to rest, eat, and gather together. Officer Ross used his scanner to check for any technology they could study. I'm picking up some kind of power source 2 levels down. It's very weak but still active. As they moved toward the power source, Gregory noticed the Vathrai were struggling. Their movements were slow and their skin looked paler through their clear suits. Are you all right? He asked Senvar. The gravity here is stronger than we are used to, Senvar explained. It is difficult for us to move. Gregory checked his own scanner. The gravity is actually slightly less than Earth normal. For us, it feels easy to move here. The Vathrai looked at each other. Gregory realized they were seeing another example of human adaptability. Meanwhile, Captain Ford's team had reached the control center. Paul was trying to understand the station's technology. This is fascinating, he told Zilteth. The control panels use light patterns instead of physical buttons. Suddenly, a loud alarm sounded throughout the station. Red lights began flashing in the corridors. What's happening? Dr. Martinez asked. Paul looked at the control panel. I think the station detected us and started some kind of emergency protocol. The doors between sections are closing. Captain Ford used her radio to contact the other team. Gregory, Ross, are you all right? We're fine, Gregory replied. But we're now cut off from your section and from the shuttle. The doors sealed automatically. The main problem is the air, Paul said after checking his scanner. The station is venting atmosphere from all sections. We have our suits, but we need to find a way back to the shuttle. Zilteth's skin changed to a dark purple color, which Gregory had learned indicated stress. Our suits have limited air supply. We must return to the shuttle within 2 hours. Captain Ford remained calm. Paul, can you override the station systems? Paul shook his head. Not from here. We need to access the main engineering section, which should be 1 level down. Both teams began moving toward engineering, trying to find a route around the sealed doors. As they worked, Gregory noticed the Vathrai becoming more distressed. Their movements were slower, and their skin colors changed rapidly. What's wrong? Gregory asked Senvar. Our suits are designed for low exertion, Senvar explained. The emergency and increased gravity are causing us to use oxygen more quickly. Officer, Ross looked concerned. How much time do you have left? Perhaps 1 hour, not 2 as we thought, Telmus said. The situation became worse when they reached a section where they needed to climb through a maintenance tunnel. The tunnel was narrow and required physical strength to pull oneself up. I will go first, Officer Ross said. He pulled himself into the tunnel and climbed up easily. When it was Telmas's turn, the Vathrai struggled. Their arms, designed for a low-gravity environment, lacked the strength needed for the climb. I cannot, Telmas said, their voice sounding weak through the translator. Without hesitation, Officer Ross reached down and pulled Telmas up. The other humans helped the remaining Vathrai climb through the tunnel. When they finally reached the engineering section, Paul worked quickly to understand the ancient controls. The Vathrai watched in silence as the humans moved around the room, checking systems and looking for ways to stop the emergency protocol. Their suits are failing, Dr. Martinez said quietly to Captain Ford, pointing to the Vathrai. They're showing signs of oxygen deprivation. Captain Ford nodded. Paul, we need a solution now. Paul looked up from the control panel. I think I can restart the life support system, but I'll need to reroute power from another system. Do it, Captain Ford ordered. While Paul worked, Dr. Martinez shared her oxygen supply with Kirlan, whose suit was failing fastest. She connected a tube from her suit to the Vathrai's, giving them some of her air. You are reducing your own survival time, Zilteth said. Watching this, Dr. Martinez shrugged. My suit has extra capacity, and humans can function with lower oxygen levels for short periods if necessary. Finally, Paul managed to restart the station's life support. Air began flowing back into the sections, and the emergency lights stopped, flashing. We did it, Paul said with a tired smile. The station is stable now. As they made their way back to the shuttle, Zilteth approached Captain Ford. Today, we have seen yet another aspect of humanity, the alien said. Your physical capabilities allowed you to function when we could not. Captain Ford nodded. Different species have different strengths. We're just adapted to different conditions. Yes, Zilteth agreed. But what is most remarkable is not your strength or endurance. It is how you shared your resources with us when we were failing. Dr. Martinez risked her own safety to help Kirlan. Gregory, walking behind them, smiled to himself. The Vathrai were learning that human resilience wasn't just physical. It was also found in how humans worked together and helped others, even those very different from themselves. And that might be the most surprising thing of all to their new alien friends. 1 month had passed since the first contact between humans and the Vathrai. The two species had learned much about each other. Now, the Horizon Dawn orbited a small, unexplored planet that both groups wanted to study. The planet has breathable air and plant life, Captain Nancy Ford explained during the mission briefing. But our scans show possible toxic spores in some regions. We need to be careful. The landing team included Gregory Pearson, Officer Daniel Ross, botanist Eric Sullivan, and Dr. Olivia Martinez from the human side. Zilteth and 2 other Vathrai scientists joined them. They landed in a clearing surrounded by strange blue trees. The sky was pale yellow and 2 small moons were visible even during daytime. The air smelled sweet like flowers. This is beautiful, Eric said as he stepped off the shuttle. He immediately began collecting plant samples. The Vathrai moved cautiously. They wore thin protective suits even though the air was breathable. Their bodies were not designed to handle unknown environments directly. We will set up monitoring equipment here, Zilteth said. The local gravity is 0.9 of Earth normal. Comfortable for humans, slightly challenging for us. The team spent several hours exploring the area near the landing site. Eric was especially excited about the plants, which had unusual properties. Look at this, he called to Gregory, holding up a round blue fruit. These fruits contain a high amount of water and several nutrients similar to those found on Earth. As they worked, dark clouds gathered overhead. Soon, heavy rain began to fall. The team hurried back to the shuttle, but the rain quickly turned the ground to mud, making movement difficult. The shuttle is still 2 kilometers away, Officer Ross said, checking his map. We need to move faster or find shelter. The Vathrai were struggling in the rain and mud. Their thin bodies and light frames made it hard for them to walk in the slippery conditions. There appears to be a cave system ahead, Zilteth said, pointing to a rocky area. We should seek shelter there until the storm passes. The team made their way to the caves. Inside it was dry but very dark. Officer Ross set up portable lights so they could see. I will check if there are any life forms in these caves, he said, moving deeper into the cave with his scanner. While they waited, Gregory noticed the Vathrai seemed uncomfortable. Their skin colors were changing rapidly, showing stress. Is something wrong? He asked Zilteth. The water from the rain has contaminated our protective suits, Zilteth explained, and we are concerned about the spores your scans detected. Gregory nodded. The Vathrai's concern made sense. Their bodies were not designed to handle unknown biological material. Officer Ross returned from his exploration. The cave goes back quite far. No signs of dangerous animals, but I found something interesting. There's an underground lake about half a kilometer in. Dr. Martinez checked her equipment. That's good news. We might need fresh water if we're stuck here for long. Suddenly, one of the Vathrai scientists, Venlar, made a strange musical sound. Our water supply containers were damaged in the rain, they said. The acidity of the local water corrupted the containers. How long can you last without water? Dr. Martinez asked. In this gravity and temperature, perhaps 30 hours, Zilteth replied. But our shuttle will not be able to take off in this storm. The lightning would damage our crystal navigation systems. Gregory looked at Eric. What about those fruits you found? Could they help? Eric thought for a moment. The blue fruits are full of water. If the Vathrai can process them, it might help. Our bodies cannot digest solid matter, Zilteth reminded them. We need liquid nutrients. We could try to extract the juice, Eric suggested. He pulled one of the fruits from his sample bag and studied it. It's mostly water anyway. Using their equipment, Eric and Dr. Martinez set up a simple system to crush the fruits and filter the juice. The result was a clear blue liquid. I need to test it first, Eric said. Before anyone could stop him, he drank a small amount of the juice. Everyone watched him nervously. It tastes sweet, Eric said after a moment. A bit like melon. I don't feel any immediate bad effects. Dr. Martinez quickly scanned him. Your vital signs are normal, but that doesn't mean it's safe for the Vathrai. We have analyzers for unknown substances, Zilteth said. They took a sample of the blue juice and tested it with a small device. It contains high water content and simple sugars. No detected toxins. It might be possible for us to absorb this. As they worked to extract more juice for the Vathrai, Officer Ross returned from checking the cave entrance. The storm is getting worse. We might be here overnight. That evening, the team set up a small camp in the cave. The humans shared their emergency rations, while the Vathrai carefully absorbed the blue fruit juice through their membrane pouches. The juice is sustaining us, Zilteth told Gregory. Your botanist's quick thinking may have saved us from a difficult situation. Gregory smiled. Eric has always been good at finding solutions using local resources. It's a human trait. We adapt to what's available. Yes, we have noticed this trait in your species, Zilteth said. You consume whatever is edible. You drink unknown substances after minimal testing. You expose yourselves to new environments with limited protection. It sounds dangerous when you put it that way, Gregory said with a small laugh. It is dangerous, Zilteth agreed. But it is also why humans have thrived. Your willingness to try new things, to test limits, to adapt to whatever you encounter. These are powerful survival traits. The storm continued through the night. In the morning, they found that a landslide had blocked the cave entrance. We're trapped, one of the Vathrai scientists said, their skin turning a pale blue color of alarm. Officer Ross examined the fallen rocks. We can dig through this. It will take time, but it's possible. For the next 4 hours, the humans took turns digging through the rock slide. The Vathrai helped by using their scanners to find the weakest points in the pile. Finally, they created an opening large enough to crawl through. Outside, the storm had passed. The sky was clear again, but the ground was still muddy and difficult to walk on. "The shuttle is sending a rescue team." Captain Ford's voice came through their communication devices. "Stay where you are." As they waited, Zilteth approached Gregory. "When we first met your species, we thought you were fragile. We saw your exposed skin, your need for frequent food and water, your shorter lifespans, and we felt sorry for you." Gregory nodded. "And now?" "Now we understand that human fragility is an illusion," Zilteth said. "Your bodies may lack our crystalline protection, but you have something more valuable: adaptability. You eat strange foods without fear. You breathe unknown air. You touch alien soil with your bare skin, and instead of dying from these things, you learn and grow stronger." As the rescue shuttle appeared in the sky above them, Gregory smiled. The Vathrai had finally understood the true nature of humanity. Not fragile creatures needing protection, but adaptable explorers ready for whatever the universe might bring. And it all began when they watched us eat.